This video is for the lesson 8.5 homework. All right, number 1, what is the name of the image and pre-image points reflected across the axis of symmetry of the parabola? These are called symmetric points. Remember, if something's symmetrical, they match up. So if you have symmetric shapes, you can turn them, twist them, flip them, and they'll fit perfectly on each other. So like these 2 points here would be symmetric points. The axis of symmetry would be that line going down through that vertex. And the points that like have the same y value but different x's, those are called symmetric points. And then what is the name of the x-coordinate of a point at which a relation crosses the x-axis? This is the x-intercept. All right, write the quadratic function for each graph below. So one thing that we can do is we can use vertex form, right? And that was the y equals a x minus h squared plus k. And we can pull those points off of this graph. So the vertex is 0, 0. That's my vertex. And then I can pick any point that I want. I like positives if I can get them, and I like small numbers if I can get them.
Teachers, I need the following students to report to the office: Clayton Quinones, Caden Quinones, Reagan Bowie, Daniel Hutchinson, Josie Leva, Sophia Richardson, Zach Moreno, Bailey Nichols. Thank you.
Okay, so this point here, so remember the x, whatever the x is, that number always goes first. Whatever the y is, that number goes second. So I can plug them into this. So the y is -2. We're looking for the a. X is a 1. H is a 0 squared, and then k is a 0. Okay, this is what we did on Tuesday. So we can simplify this down. 1 minus 0 is 1. And then remember, if we're adding 0, we don't have to put that. 1 squared is a 1, right? So 1a. And then remember, we don't have to put a 1. We can make it invisible. So my a value is -2. So I could write this as y equals -2 x minus 0, that's the h, and then I don't even have to put the +2 or the +0 on the end. I'm so sorry. So that's vertex form. But I want it in standard form too. Standard form makes life easy, especially when I'm graphing and stuff. So remember to break this down. -2 x minus 0 squared. Break this down first, and we do x minus 0 times x minus 0. So we FOIL it. X times x is x squared. What happens when we multiply something by 0? So like the outside would be 0 times x. It's a 0, right? You multiply anything by 0. So I'm just going to put +0 there, +0 there, and then 0 times 0 is a 0. So x minus 0 squared is just x squared. So here's what I've got. -2 times x squared. That's it. That's my quadratic. So f of x equals -2x squared. They don't always simplify down that easily. Okay, that one just does. All right, the other way that I can, no, I can't do that yet on these. All right, so let's try it again. Let's do this one. So vertex form again. So my vertex here, here's my point at -2, +2. That's my h and my k. And then I pick any other point. I'm going to pick this one here, 0, 6. That's my x and my y. All right, so vertex form. Hopefully I got room here. y equals a x minus h squared plus k. All right, y is a 6. A is what I'm looking for. X is a 0. H is a negative 2. So remember, since it's minus 8, it would be plus 2. And then k is a positive 2. All right. 0 plus 2 is a 2. What's 2 squared? 4. So I got 4a plus 2. So we can solve it. If you can do it by hand, you can do it in your head. Fantastic. If not, it's okay to use the calculator. 6 equals 4a plus 2, comma a. A equals 1. Okay. So if I write this out, I've got in vertex form. Y equals, A is 1, keep the x. H is a negative 2, so plus 2 squared. And then, sorry, my brain just stopped working for a second, plus 2. All right, so we got to put it in standard form. So the 1 becomes invisible. We don't really need that, but we got to break this down. So x plus 2 times x plus 2. All right, x times x is x squared. Outside, x times 2 is 2x. Inside, 2 times x is 2x. Last, 2 times 2 is 4. Combine like terms. So x squared plus 4. And what I've got left, I've got that whatever number, because sometimes there's a number. Sometimes we got to distribute that number. The 1 we don't have to distribute. And then the plus 2 at the end. So remember, if it's anything other than 1, you got to distribute that 1 out. So what I have, I got to combine like terms again. 2 plain old numbers, I can combine together. 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, so x squared plus 4x plus 6. So I want to show you some pieces. So the a value that we found, that 1, that's the number that goes in front of the x squared. So it's invisible here. Your y-intercept, 0, 6, that 6 is the number that goes at the end. Okay? So there's pieces that you can use that'll help you check. So, like on this one, the y-intercept here is 1. So when I write my equation, ax squared plus bx, I know there's going to be a plus 1 at the end. So there's little pieces from the graph that you can use that'll help you check. So here's the deal. As long as you can get them to vertex form, I'll count them. Because I know going from here to here is still difficult. If you can get them to standard form, I'll give you bonus points. Again, hoping that they're multiple choice so that if you can get it to this point, you can graph it and compare it with your answer choices to see which ones match up. You can guess and check. Okay? All right. Writing from a graph is probably the toughest. Okay? Information is a little bit easier. All right. A quadratic function has a double root of 1. What that means is on a coordinate plane where x is 1, here's what that quadratic is going to look like. It's going to do something like this, and it's going to touch here at 1, 0. Okay? So x equals 1. But that means my factors are x minus 1 and x minus 1. It's the same factor twice. So if I know the roots or the solutions or the x-intercepts, I can write the factors and then do what we did yesterday. I can just FOIL it. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. Negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. Combine like terms. Negative x and a negative x makes a negative 2x. So x squared minus 2x plus 1. Same thing, the x-intercepts, you can write those as factors. So if it's x or 4 comma 0, that's the x-intercept. We know we have x equals 4. X-intercept of 5 is x equals 5. I can write them like factors, so we just change the sign. And then you can FOIL them. Okay, so x times x is x squared. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And then last, negative 4 times negative 5 is a positive 20. Combine like terms. Negative 5 plus negative 4 makes a negative 9 plus 20. So to me, those are easier. I'm not a big fan of vertex form either. It's just a lot of steps. I get it. Minus 9x plus 20. All right, so if it's got the solutions, negative 2, negative 1, that means x equals negative 2 and x equals negative 1. So what are my factors going to be? If x equals negative 2, what's that factor going to be? Plus 2. If x equals negative 1, what's that factor going to be? Plus 1, right? Same thing. If it says roots, all that means is x equals 2 and x equals negative 5. Okay? So that's what you have left. If you get stuck on these, let me know. Let me help you. Okay?